sponsored by Canadian Model Railroad.ca and by donations from patrons like you.
Further support provided by Frog and Diamond Hobbyworks, largest little hobby shop in Winnipeg.
And now on with the show with your hosts, Peter.
Well, Peter, what time it is?
It's train time.
Season 4.
Season 4, episode
46. So far, our last video with the Mega Train Show have been very successful.
Yes.
A lot of people have looked at it.
Yes.
And this time in our show, we got a new sponsor, you know.
Yes.
We'll have a commercial on that a little later. We went and visit the new shelter of the 2747.
That's right.
Which is the first segment.
Yep. And the Transcona Museum.
Well, yes, the interview with Alana is on the second segment. The photo of the month, the view from above, and more than likely a little run by on our train upstairs.
Yep.
So, folks, time to go see what the 2747 shelter looked like.
Okay, we're here at the home of 2747, the new home of it in Transcona. This has been built with donations from all sorts of people. CN has contributed a large amount to Transcona Museum to have this shelter built so that 2747 will be out of the weather. There's also a viewing stand in the back where people will be able to go up and actually look inside the cab. This has been an ongoing project. There's landscaping being done in the front. And 2747 was the first locomotive built in Western Canada, and it was built at Transcona Shops. It was the first of many built here in Transcona. And so now it's preserved here out of the weather in its new shelter. And there's going to be an opening, I believe, spring of 2024. We don't have an exact date yet, but it'll be late spring, early summer. So this is the new home of 2747, and thanks to the Transcona Museum and donations, it's come to life and is now here to preserve the locomotive.
Well, they did a nice job.
They've done a very nice job there. It's landscaped. The walkway is up behind the locomotive, so people will be able to go and look in the cab next May.
Well, when they open the season
official-
next year,
the
yes,
official-
they will be able to have people going in.
Yeah.
So I guess they will have somebody pretty permanent in there, you know.
Yeah, during the season.
Yeah.
She's going to let us know when the opening ceremony is. So that'll be something we'll have to follow up on.
It's definitely that little museum is doing a lot of things, you know, and not only train related and so on, like we will see in the next segment.
Yeah.
But they're really thinking ahead.
Yeah.
You know, so it's a place of work to be seen.
And they've, from the videos and the photographs, it's really family oriented. There's a place for kids, and adults can walk around, and kids have a section that they can go and spend time in. So it's really well set up for family.
It sure is. It sure is, and I really enjoy our visit there. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
Well, folks, now let's have a little bit of a run by to go by, and
Well, check out CMR.
Yeah, and then we'll go to the photo of the month. Well, now, folks, let me introduce Peter, having a interview with Alana, who's the curator for the Transcona Museum in Winnipeg. Let's go and see that.
Well,
now.
we're here at the Transcona Museum. We're here with Lana, the curator. So we're going to be talking to her about the history of the place. And so let's lead off with the building itself.
Well, the museum is located at 141 Regent Avenue West here in Winnipeg, and the building itself was built in about 1924 as the Bank of Toronto. So it was a bank for a number of years, and then the bank moved out. They moved kitty corner across the street. So then it became the Transcona Municipal Office, and it was for a number of years as well. And then after amalgamation, there were different city offices and things like that in the building. I heard once that there was a secondhand clothing store in the basement. And then in the early 1980s, the museum moved in, and so we've been here ever since.
You've been here ever since 1980. Okay. I noticed looking around that it's not strictly a Transcona train museum either.
No, and unfortunately, railway stuff tends to be quite large, and we're quite small. So we do have some railway history. Here at the museum, we have a lot of manuals, we have some tools and things like that, but we're also collecting and telling the story of the community of Transcona as well. So sometimes it's more railway themed, and other times we're telling other community stories.
So your exhibits are changing from time to time during the year?
We change our exhibits every year. So typically right after spring break with the kids, we shut down for about a month to 6 weeks, and we change over everything in the museum. All new exhibits, all new things on display, all new stories being told, so that people can come back year after year and see something different.
Something different, yes. I took a walk in the other room there. I noticed you have a kids zone, so obviously you're kid-oriented.
Yeah, definitely we want something for kids to do when they come here to the museum. So anyone who comes and visits, we offer scavenger hunts. We have scavenger hunts for little kids all the way up to adult scavenger hunts that you can do. We offer kid-themed programming or children-themed programming as well during the summer, but also Halloween's coming up, so we're doing some Halloween programming as well. We do holidays, Valentine's Day, and then definitely during spring break. But we want everyone to feel like there's something here for everyone who comes to visit.
I noticed on your website that you also have guided tours for groups.
So during the summer, we offer walking tours every Thursday. 2 different times. We have a community history walking tour and a mural walking tour, but we also offer a remembrance walking tour. So on November 3rd of this year, we're going to be offering our remembrance walking tour leading up to Remembrance Week, and that we're telling the story of the community, but with a remembrance focus, and telling the stories of some of the individuals from the community who fought in World War I and World War II and did not come home.
Yes, I noticed coming here that there's banners out on the street. I'm from the city of Selkirk, and we do a similar thing down in Adeline, and it's banners for the different veterans. So that's a really community kind of oriented program for Remembrance Day.
Yeah, that's new for this year. The banners were being worked on last year. The museum assisted the Transcona Legion with this project, so we help provide information on all the names of the individuals from Transcona from World War I, World War II, dates for when they were killed in action, and a photograph if we had one in our collection or if we found one as well. So we definitely assisted the Legion in the project.
And you said you've got something coming up for Remembrance Day in one of the malls?
Yeah, every year during Remembrance Week, we do a remembrance display. So this year we're going to be at Kildonan Place Shopping Centre from November 6th to November 11th with our current Remembrance Week exhibit, Stories of Remembrance from Hometown to the Front Lines. And it is 18 stories of individuals, of the home front, all different snippets and aspects of remembrance from the community will be on display, along with some of our artifacts. And we'll also be taking our books of honor as well. So in those, we have the names of everyone we know of from Transcona who enlisted in World War I and World War II, and any information we have on them.
Great. The other thing is we're kind of at the end of the season, so your hours are reduced. You're open till...
We're open Tuesday to Fridays, 11 a.m. to 4 p.m., and Saturdays, 12 p.m. to 4 p.m., but we are closed all holiday long weekends. And during Remembrance Week, staff will be working up at KP Mall, so the museum will be closed that week.
Okay. You also have a website that people can visit. What is your address on there?
It's transconamuseum.mb.ca, and you can also follow us on social media. We have Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and it's all just Transcona Museum.
I forgot to touch on 2747. We've been promoting it on our podcast. So that's a major project, the shelter for 2747. Can you give us a little kind of rundown, update on that?
It's almost complete. I mean, the structure itself looks complete. We're just waiting on final inspections. And unfortunately, we didn't get finished during this year, but we're hopeful that next summer, spring, we're going to have regular open hours where people can come up and get up into the cab and look around the engine. We just have a few more things to do, but we're looking to have an official opening in late spring, early summer next year.
Okay, because as part of this, we're going to go over there and take some video of that as well. And that you're still taking donations for?
Yes, we are. So you can donate on our website. There is a link to the capital campaign on our website. You could mail in any donation that you wanted to make, or you could even stop in at the museum to make your donation.
Because that's quite a unique history to that locomotive.
Yes, it was the very first steam locomotive built in Western Canada, and it was built right here in Transcona, and it was the first of 33 steam locomotives built in Transcona, and I believe it is the only one remaining out of those 33.
Well, good for you for saving it. That's wonderful. I'd like to thank Lana for your time, and hopefully our audience enjoys this segment because it's a great place to come and see.
Thank you so much for coming in, and then come next spring we should have you out and we can give you a tour on the inside of the structure.
Oh, wonderful. That's great.
Well,
Thank you.
Peter, that was a nice interview that you had with Alana.
Yep. Yes, it was very informative. We had a very nice chat, you might say. And, you know, like I said before, looking around the museum, it's really set up for family.
Yeah, well, I was a little surprised that they didn't have as much train-related items in the museum, but as she says, train take a lot of room.
Yes.
And they got very little space.
And they, you know, I mean, they're doing it as a museum of Transcona. It's in a historical building in Transcona, and it's got a lot of, you know, memorabilia and artifacts from Transcona in general.
And also, they got a lot of activities, what I find really good, because whatever the time during the year, they got something, you know.
Yep.
It's like us for November.
Yeah.
The museum there's got things organized for the vets and so on, but so are we at the CMR, because the question to you, viewer, do you have a memorial for veteran on your layout?
Yes.
How many layout do have a cenotaph and so on?
Yeah.
We'll run by our cenotaph that we got at the CMR, and that is in November.
Yep.
And so that you can see what you can do and what you can scratch build to.
But it's an interesting question. You know, I mean, we're doing layouts and we're trying to be realistic, so
Yeah.
why not have something for
Well,
remembrance?
we want to remember the reason why we're here today, right? Now, going into another subject is we ask ourselves sometime, being a model railroader, is it necessary going into a rabbit hole? You know, where sometime you got to take out your head, you know, to have a little bit of fresh air, you know. I will say that yes, in some extent, we going into a rabbit hole because we always have to develop something different. You know,
Yep.
we always have to do something new.
Yep. Yep.
And the market now is bringing always new things.
Yes.
We got more and more manufacturers. A lot of them are homegrown, you know, starting from what they were doing for themselves and then suddenly open it for other people
Yep.
and so on.
Yep.
So
Yep.
definitely, I think it's a rabbit hole.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess you could say that. it's changing all the time, I guess.
So imagine the one that started that when they were teenager. How deep the hole is.
Well, I can think of my own growing up with trains. Started as a kid, my dad had the old tin plate. We went from that to O-scale, the 3-rail, and we would set that up on the floor like at Christmas and stuff. And then eventually we got into HO, and my dad being a collector like he was, we had every road name piece of rolling stock that he could find. So that was kind of different, and you know, here we are. I'm in both HO and N scale.
Well, yeah, a lot of people have many different scales. Me personally, I just got a HO and it's ample enough. I haven't started on the hobby as early as you have, but regardless, I look back and yeah, I kind of feel sometimes I got too much rolling stock. You know. We went through, I guess, all the different difficulties that model railroader goes with and so on and so on. And you probably put a train under your Christmas tree, but I don't. I never did.
Yeah.
You know, I got some family that do.
Yeah.
You know, that put a train underneath the Christmas tree. But for me, the model railroading is still in here. You know, on the layout itself.
Yep.
You know, I don't have a specific train to go in there.
I think we spend more of our time now on doing the sceneries, and you especially doing all the buildings, whether they're kit bashed or scratch built. But we spend more time, I think, doing the individual sceneries that...
Well, yeah, now that the basic is done and built, it's totally... I guess, you know, the basic itself and putting the tracks and all the power and that type of thing get boring real quick when you got a big layout. But when you have done that stage, and you can start to do what you really love in the hobby, which is building and sceneries and that type of thing, make it a whole lot more enjoyable to run trains to start with.
Yeah, for sure,
know.
for sure. And our track gang is still tweaking different spots on the layout.
Well, I think they would be tweaking forever because there's always something to be fixed.
Yeah, it seems to be.
Yeah. Oh, our floor manager is here tonight. Hello, Georgie. So, regardless, Peter, I look at it that we had a few running nights lately, and I'm kind of puzzled with one problem that has been happening, and all our locomotives, Tony or Mary or myself, we have no problem with, and you have some recent purchase of locomotives that they suddenly stopped.
Yep, we had, I picked up the Intermountain CN military commemorative locomotive, and I have two Heritage CP locomotives, Athearn Genesis, and for some reason on the layout, you run them on their own and they'll run around the layout, no problems at all. And then we start adding cars to it, and we've checked the underside of the cars to make sure there's no exposed metal to the metal wheels. And we get up to 4 or 5 cars and they start stopping and shorting out the line. So
Yeah, that is a mystery, really. I don't know, viewer, if you had the same problem with the Aturn Genesis and the Intermountain, but if you have, leave us a comment how you fixed that problem
Yeah.
and what the problem was, because really we're pretty stumped with this one.
Yeah.
You know, we never seen that before. It's totally a new problem. Is it the motor? Is it the wiring? Is it the
Yep.
the
And actually, the Intermountain one right now is with Tony at the Frog and Diamond Hobby Shop. He's looking into what he can find. So
Well, yeah, because he does repair and all of that, but you know, when you got a new locomotive like that, you shouldn't have to repair it.
and the thing is, like I said, on their own, they run on the layout, no problems. There's no stopping. They can go multiple times around the layout, and it's a long run
Yes, it is.
with no problem in either direction, forward or reverse. And it's as soon as they get a load on them is when they start stopping.
And they never stop at the same place.
Not always. There's a couple of spots that they seem to stop at, but it can change.
Intermittent. Well, that's one of the problems that we have encountered. I sure hope that some of you viewers have a solutions for this, because I think it's above our pay grade right now.
Yeah, we're really scratching our heads on this one.
Yes, we do. November will be definitely a good show. We are working on that right now. December, we got some surprise for you. Already start to work on that.
Yeah.
So,
And I also got an email from my brother asking about the Megatrain show, because he had watched the episode. He is with Iron Horse out in Airdrie, and at the Edmonton show they were allowed to set up a 7.5-inch gauge track, but they couldn't run. It was static. They weren't allowed to run. So he was asking how it was set up at the Mega Train show. So I sent him pictures with it showing that it's a big loop and it's fenced off and all of that wherewithal. So hopefully that helps him with the Edmonton show. So
because they got some pretty nice locomotive on that scale,
yeah.
those guys.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. That'd be nice if we got a video, if they ever put it together as a loop and we got a video on that. That would be interesting, you know.
We'll see where that goes.
Yes.
It's not till next year for the next show, so.
That's right. And the Mega Train show will be back next year's again at the last September weekend. So more than likely our crew will be there and doing a video again on that. September will pretty much always be reserved for the Mega Train, because that's the biggest train show we got here in Manitoba.
That's right, yeah.
So anyway, folks, have a great time modeling, and to help you in your modeling, don't forget to visit the Frog and Diamond Hobbyworks. You know, they got everything you need, you know, and they got the expertise, and they do the repairs and so on. You cannot really enjoy model railroading without having been at the Frog and Diamond, because it's very surprising for a little hobby shop what you can get in there, you know. So go and visit them. Till then, Peter, I guess we'll say
happy modeling.
Happy modeling, and see you to episode 47, you know, in November. And till then, happy modeling.
Take care.